Hello, NB family. It's your favorite. Check this out. I just came up with this word. It's your favorite aunticle. It's like an auntie and an uncle all rolled into one. So that's me. My name is Yali, and I just started doing these vlogs talking about non-binary stuff because I don't really see a whole lot of content embodying the type of experience that I have as a they-mab. Stupid word, I know, but there's a lot of they-fab discourse, there's no they-mab discourse. So I'm making the discourse, and I'm gonna do some cute makeup because I just got new makeup and I need to practice. So we're gonna do that, and today, I do have a lot more topics that I wanna cover, but today I thought I would just talk a little bit about myself and give some background for people who are new to this little show or new to this channel or new to my life. I had a couple people after my one yesterday asking a little bit about my journey. So we're gonna do that, and I'm gonna do some makeup. We're using Morphe X Kathleen lights, because that's just about all I have right now. So my journey. Oops, that was the highlight. I meant to use the color foundation thing. Well, we're non-binary. There's no fucking rules. Okay, so yeah, I came out officially as non-binary. It was kind of late. I feel like, people ask me when did you start transitioning? And there's a lot of answers to that. Okay, in middle school is probably the first time that I really started to have some sort of gender confusion or gender questions, or just feeling like I didn't necessarily fit in with the other boys. Before that, little kids are, I don't know, kind of neutral enough. I mean, I don't know. As a little kid, I remember there was I don't know, there was gender expansion going on around me, but I wasn't really a part of it. I've thought, I read this cool little essay that was kind of talking about the difference between the genders of boy and girl and man and woman. And that made a lot of stuff make sense to me, because I feel growing up, I was a boy, I don't know what to tell you. I liked playing with Transformers, I liked playing with trucks, I liked playing with all the stuff that boys typically like playing with, so that's that. But then, yeah, once it came to middle school, it was especially going through puberty and hearing, oh, Mish back there. Hearing other boys specifically talking about women and sex, and I was just y'all are crazy. Why are you talking about women like this? We're supposed to like them. It's if you want to be with them, you gotta like them as people. And I don't know, I just had some very early kind of proto-feminism type ideas where it was how come in all these TV shows and movies and stuff, a couple has sex and then the guy flips over and the woman's huh. That was just a very, very early indication to me, something was all wrong here. And then there was the boys would joke about, it's oh, they found out about the concept of a lesbian. They were it means you like girls? I guess I'm a lesbian. And I was haha, yeah, same. But why are you guys laughing? So that was that. That one's always kind of funny to think about. So there was a lot of just understanding of women and appreciating them on this level that just kind of felt sort of different than a lot of what my peers seemed to be reacting towards women. Yesterday I put too much bronzer on my nose. I'm trying to get that better this time. I don't exactly know what I'm supposed to do. If you got tips, let me know. So yeah, and I don't know, I was very effeminate. I had long hair. Oh, once again, I'm talking about long hair as if that's what makes a man or a woman. Kind of goofy. But I did have long hair. It was a lot of fun. And I was I called myself, I remember on MySpace, I was I'm effeminate. in like the first sentence of my MySpace, and I was like 12. Pretty funny. Yeah, I'm a goofy kid. I was a goofy kid. I still kind of am a goofy kid. So yeah, and then like, I don't know, later, like I actually kind of started learning about feminism, and I started learning, it was like 2014 era, like SJW Tumblr feminism, so maybe not the best place for me to have started on all of that. Well, not started, but like really getting into it on there. Cause I don't know, there were just like some pretty stupid ideas. There was a lot of like gender essentialism, I think. But anyways, at the time I just saw it's like, oh my God, male privilege. Like, have I been doing all these things? Have I been like secretly wielding this like power and whatever over women? And I think, you know, relative to most guys or whatever, I was doing like a lot less of that than a lot of other people were. Whoa, was that way too much highlighter on the inside? Oh well. Whoa, now I feel like I'm just making my eyes like white. It's kind of cool. But yeah, I just kind of feel like that's like when I started like socially transitioning. I remember a big one was like reading this one day about it's like how like men interrupt women a lot. And yeah, sure enough, like this girlfriend of mine was telling me about that. And while she was telling me about it, I interrupted her and she was like, see, and I was just like, oh shit, you're totally right. And then I remember going to work and seeing like my coworker who was like some idiot man just like interrupting the fuck out of our shift lead or whatever, and just being like, there it is. My roommate wasn't lying. Maybe women can tell the truth. Just kidding. Whatever. Blush time. Let's see if I can do this right today. Because yesterday, I did like too much, or it was too low or something. Whoa, that's a lot of blush. That's way too much. Okay, this is why I need that blending brush. I swear I used to have one. Okay, so once again, way too much. But okay, we're out here. So yeah, I kind of started like socially. I was just like, oh, let me like stop interrupting women. Let me kind of lower my voice. I don't need to be yelling all the time. I noticed I lived with boys. They would always be yelling. It was so obnoxious. And I don't know, there were ways where I made myself smaller, which then when I started like actually transitioning, I really started doing that. And what a bad idea that was. Women should be big. Women should be confident. Women should be assertive. Women should be loud. They should be allowed to do these things, you know? It feels like they're really not a lot of the time, or like they're punished for it. Different kind of like social punishments and whatnot. Oh yeah, that's right. Let me put this highlight. Brow highlights. Little above, little below. As above, so below, right? I think this is what they meant by that. That's right. T-zone. So yeah, and then I don't know, I had a girlfriend when I was like 20, and we kind of started experimenting with gender and stuff, and that was pretty cool. And then like the next girlfriend I had, I was like, can you call me your girlfriend? And like that was really cool and really special and felt really good. And then like I feel like that's around maybe the first time I used the word non-binary for myself, because we went to some club where it was like women and non-binaries pay $5, men pay $60. Like that was crazy. I was like, I ain't paying no $60. I'm not coming in here as the man who like they're trying to price out. So even though I like didn't really like know about non-binary like that, I was like, I'm non-binary. And there I was in my beard and a skirt, which is like peak gender. So that was pretty cool. Yeah, and like I was that girl's girlfriend for a while. And then like we met one day, like we met her friend who was a trans woman, and she introduces me to this woman. She's like, this is my girlfriend. And I felt so like, like I'm not what you are, not in a bad way, but like I'm not doing all of that. Like, I'm not trying to like be a woman in that kind of way. So that kind of scared me off, and I was like, I guess start calling me your boyfriend again. And I still don't think I was like identifying technically as non-binary yet. That really didn't come till a little while later. I think it's when I was in college and I was taking all these classes on like LGBT and like gender diversity and like anthropology, sociology, and that was really cool. Shouts out Kate Rappel, shouts out Glendale Community College. And I think it was like every few months for like honestly years, probably since I was at least like 18 or something, I would ask myself, am I trans? And the answer would never be yes, but it also wouldn't be no. And I didn't really, I didn't have a word for that. I didn't understand. I was just like, well, I guess I'm just like a boy who's confused. And like, it's funny, like a year ago, I found all these old tweets where I just was being really non-binary. I was being really trans. I just didn't have the language for it yet, which is just like, I don't know, kind of funny to think about, a little bit sad to think about. Hold on, I'm gonna open this window for the light to shine in a little bit. Cute. So let's see. So yeah, so then there was one day I was just trying to find, figuring out that you're trans is like really hard and takes a lot of time. There's a lot of like self-doubt and denial and stuff. And I would like go read on like trans like subreddits and stuff a lot of the time and be like, something here is really captivating, and then like kind of get scared off, or like read one thing that I didn't fully agree with and be like, oh, I guess it's not me. But then one day I found non-binary subreddit, or maybe someone was just talking about being non-binary on there. And I don't remember what they said, but they were just like recounting some of the events of their life as a young person. And I was like, and that was like the moment that I felt maybe the most gender euphoria I ever felt, where it just felt like this like cloud had been, not exactly like this dark cloud had been lifted, but like all of a sudden I was in these great white clouds, and it was so, oh my God, like that's me. That feels really good. So yeah, and so then I was like non-binary for several years. That was probably around when I was like 23-ish, 24. And then I was like, okay, well, I guess we're entering the he/they era, because, one thing that's really difficult about transitioning when you're still kind of like in your hometown and still have all your same friends is like, everyone has known you for so long as one thing. It's really hard for other people to make that shift to be like, oh, Yali is, I guess I gotta start calling Yali they. And God bless like my friends and stuff. Everyone got it pretty quick. My parents, still not there. At them for me. Be like, hey, Yali is they. Stop calling Yali he. They really don't like it. I tell them every time, and every time they're just like, it's hard. We're still getting used to it. I came out to them like 4 years ago, so Abba, if you're watching this, come on. He's doing better than he used to. We take what we can get, right? Am I right? Wait, are we doing purple today? Yeah, we're doing purple today. I'm gonna do it in that mirror over there. That's a nice purple. Yeah, and then so I was like he, they for a while, and maybe I was even they, he before I left LA. But then when I got into UC Santa Cruz in like 2020, yeah, I think so. Then starting on like Zoom, you could put your little pronouns. Yali, they, them. Leave me alone. No one call me he or I'll kill you. But yeah, it was kind of just like, okay, well, none of these people have like this pre-existing notion of who I am, so I could just be whoever I want. Ooh, I like that purple a lot. I think I'm actually gonna put the purple everywhere and then put a darker purple on the eyelid. We're gonna try that out. So yeah, so I went to Santa Cruz and I was they, them, and that was like online for a year. And then when I got in person, then I started meeting like hella more trans people. Santa Cruz, if you didn't know, is a really great place to like come out and to start like experimenting and just like being taken as what you are. People over there are very cool about that kind of thing. So I was really lucky to have that experience. And yeah, I was like still kind of going through things, you know. I had met my bandmates and like they kind of started talking about being trans. Both of them were trans women, are trans women. They stopped after I left the band. We were only doing this to trick Yali into transitioning. No. They're wonderful. Ooh, is this shade gonna come out purple? We gotta swatch first. Okay, that's gonna come out okay. It's gonna come out real dark, but we're gonna rock with it. And yeah, like, you know, we would be at practice and they would just be talking about like their experiences and their lives. And something like really big started happening for me in my chest. And I remember thinking, kind of like envisioning like a treasure chest almost. A treasure chest, but it was like locked up with all these like chains and like locks and like bear traps and like barbed wire and stuff like that. And it felt like I was approaching something inside me that was like really like not allowed and not okay, and that I had to like hide from because, well, I think it's because, you know, when I was in middle school, oh, this is looking cute. Don't look at my bed. We gotta blend it a little bit more up here. Blend it out. So, but yeah, like over the course of like, you know, 4-ish months of like talking to them a lot and just being around them, being exposed to the possibilities, it just came out of me. And at some point I was just like, I don't know, and I was having like other difficulties with like my masculinity and like dating and stuff, which like that's gonna be a whole other episode talking about like gender and like desire, and we'll get into it. But this, yeah, I was just like kind of having like trouble dating people who like, I would tell them, hey, I'm non-binary, but still they kind of treated me like a man in these ways that were really uncomfortable for me. And I just remember having this one evening where I was just like, I can't keep living like this. And this that I kind of identified at that moment was like, I can't keep living as a man. I like have to go harder on this. I have to transition. So I started, I got in touch with the lovely gender specialists up at UC Santa Cruz. Okay, not too bad. We're just gonna have a big smoky brow, I guess. Maybe I used the wrong finger. The lovely gender doctors at UC Santa Cruz got me on my hormones, and it was kind of amazing how quickly I started to feel things changing. I first got on spironolactone, which is a androgen blocker, testosterone blocker. So it stopped, I think it doesn't stop your body from creating, but stops your body from absorbing the testosterone that it creates. Science is incredible, huh? And so I remember I was like really casually seeing this girl right around when I started. And I remember like the first time we kind of got intimate, and, you know, before that, I don't know, I would just be so like all encompassingly horny. And in this moment, like, I wasn't. And you know, we didn't get that far, which is like fine. And I feel like maybe in like a previous life or a previous type of encounter like that, I would have been maybe like not like upset with the woman, but just like have this sort of like gnawing inside me. I gotta get my rocks off. But in this moment, I was just like, no, we just like shared, you know, this kind of lovely intimacy. We cuddled and like made out and whatever. And it was nice. And like, that's all it had to be. And I left feeling whole and feeling satisfied. So that was really cool. Then a couple months later, I started on estrogen, and I started to get all these like body changes and hormone changes. There was a while, I like to say, okay, going through first puberty as a boy, it was like a gust of wind would give me a boner. But then second puberty on estrogen, a gust of wind would make me cry. And it really was. It was kind of wild. You know, it was like stuff going on in my life at the time as well. But there was like this period of time, maybe like 3 to 4 months in on estrogen, where it really was like the like littlest thought could come to me. It could be a sad thought, it could be a happy thought, but just something that felt that gave me a lot of emotions. And I would just break down for like 16 seconds and then go back about my business. It was very, very strange and very interesting time. You know what? We're gonna do mascara and eyeliner, and then I think we're gonna call it a day because I already look slay. And I love to rhyme because I don't know how. Oh, that's right, mascara and this little, did I get some on my nose? So anyways, oh, I did it again. Yali, you fool. So I was working on my transition, and a lot of it was going pretty well, but a lot of it was also making me feel crazy, which I also want to get to in a future video, talking about, I kind of talked about this a little bit yesterday, but the being perceived all the time and being really aware of my perception from the outside, which I think is a very, very common experience for women. So in that way, kind of gender affirming, but also it was just making me go crazy. And a big part was the beard. I think I said this in my last video, but I had started to get laser hair removal, and then I talked to an old friend of mine, a trans woman who I talked to a lot before I started transitioning. And I had a lot of questions for her about like the effects of hormones and yada yada. And one of the things that she reminded me when I told her that I was getting lasers, she was like, really? Yali, you like fretted so much asking me like over and over if getting on hormones would kill your beard because you love your facial hair. And you know what? She was right. I do love my facial hair. Pretty cute. So at that moment, I was also kind of having like issues with like the spiro. It was kind of just like killing a lot of my mood and just like feeling like really like weird. So I stopped the spiro. I still take my estrogen to this very day. And that's pretty cool. But so I stopped the spiro and I kind of did a little reevaluation of everything. And I was like, am I a woman? I don't know. Honestly, horrible question. Trans girls, or if you're like questioning, don't ask yourself, am I a woman? I don't know what you should necessarily ask yourself. There's a lot of other good videos and resources about that. But I don't know. Do I want to be a woman is such a nebulous question. Well, like, what is a woman? We're not getting into that territory. But whatever. But it was kind of like, it just made me realize that part of it was like, as I was really trying to lean into femininity, a lot of my like masculine things were coming out, whether it was like just certain like ways I like to like hold my body or move my body or like voice stuff. Look, this is kind of silly, but I remember me and my roommate started watching Sopranos, incredible show if you didn't know. as if I'm the gospel and no one's ever heard of Sopranos. But it's a great show, and those guys have really fun voices to do, and I'd be like, hey, down. But when I did that, I was like working on my voice training pretty hard at the time. Let me see if I can still do it for a second. I was working pretty hard on my voice training for a while there, and so when I would watch The Sopranos and try to imitate their voices just because it was fun, and I would go from this to hey, down, and I would be like, oh my God, it makes me feel like really bad that my body can do that even, because that, I don't know, being trans makes you just think about all these ways, all the ways that you could get clocked and ways that you could have your transness and your femininity stripped away from you, which again, is a thing that a lot of cis women go through. And there's a whole racial component too. Maybe we'll talk about that one day. But yeah, and so it was like stuff like that. That's like kind of like a sort of a silly example, but it was stuff like that where I was just like, it feels like in order to really become the woman that I want to become, I have to kill the boy or the man that I once was. And that felt really bad, especially because, you know, it's like, I'm a feminist. I'm really on my gender liberation tip. I don't think that we can get there by just like all men have to either transition or like go work in the mines or whatever. Like men, I don't know. I had professors who were men who made me see it's like, wait, like that guy is unequivocally a man, but he's not really doing any of the sort of like toxic things that I associate with masculinity in this way. It's like, they're not doing anything that's like the masculinity that I wanted to get away from. In fact, they were embodying a lot of the masculinity that I still try to embody today, which is being like caring and kind and like taking care, being responsible, and like just doing good work. And I think this is a big problem. We'll talk about this another day too, but it's like, we're really missing positive masculine role models because the male role models that do try to make themselves into such are like the Andrew Tates, etc., who are just like some fucking asshole. Meanwhile, the men who are actually like good men, you know, are quiet. That's what I found out, is the best thing a man can do is work hard and shut up about it. And that's really a bummer to me. I think that men should be able to be celebrated for some stuff, which is kind of silly. I think for most of the world, men are always celebrated for everything. But in my little world of the last few years, which was very like gender studies and LGBT and like feminism and everything, men were really relegated. And that was also very difficult for me. I felt like, you know, I went through the feminist studies program at UC Santa Cruz, and it felt like I couldn't have gone through that program. Oh, I'm getting a call. One sec. Okay, I'm back. It was about a job. Hopefully I'll be employed soon, and then I won't be able to make these videos. Ha! So enjoy them while they last. Just kidding. I hopefully will keep making videos even after I have employment. Wow, doing this in the video screen is so tough. But hey, we out here. Where even was I? Oh yeah, so I was like transitioning, and then it was driving me, it was making me crazy. And yeah, so I got off the Spyro, and I kind of, you know, it was really scary to me at the time because I was like, wow, I already put so much time into this, so much effort into this. I've already told so many people. I had like told my family and everything, which I kind of really wish that I had waited on that because they were kind of weird about it, and I haven't talked to them that much since. And I'm like, what are they even gonna say now? I don't know. We'll worry about that when it gets to it. That eye came out okay. I went like a little too low, huh? Ooh, maybe, you know what? We're gonna try to do under eye, which I like never do. But we'll try that in a second, actually. I'm gonna do the other eye first. I'm gonna scooch this over so I have more light on it. But yeah, you know, and like my roommate at the time was, you know, oh, wait, the angle. I gotta do this one in the mirror. Excuse me. My roommate at the time, also a trans girl, and I was like really nervous to tell her of all people, because I was like, oh, is this gonna change our relationship? Like, are you even gonna like me anymore if I'm not trans? But you know what? Bless her heart, she was really cool about it. And we're still really good friends. So that's good. How's that look? Looks alright. Alright. Gotta bring it in a little bit more. Yeah, I'm gonna say we're rocking with this. Where did my fan just go? Yeah, and then I kind of just, you know, since then I've been non-binary again. It's like kind of, I don't know, sometimes it feels like a detransition. Sometimes it just feels like I'm on my journey. I'm pretty happy with that. Yeah, and like these days, yeah, I'm non-binary, I'm gender fluid. Some days I feel more comfortable embodying masculinity. Some days I feel more comfortable embodying femininity, like really hard in one way or the other. Most days I feel comfortable somewhere in between. I get a lot of joy out of how I look right now. The makeup is pretty femme, the hair, this thing, all my accessories, this little top. But then hey, I got a beard. And don't it look good? And I got... I'm not even that strong, but I used to go to the gym for a while, so I have decent muscle definition. So that's pretty cute. Yeah, and like, you know, my friends basically understand who I am, and that's what's really important. You know, hopefully one day my family will catch up. Hopefully I work at a job where they can get it. You know, I'm like looking for work right now. Working with kids has been sometimes very fun, sometimes very tough, being the gender that I am. But it's kind of fun. Mix B. This is Mix B, your favorite aunticle. Thank you for listening to my story. I'm gonna sign off now, and I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day, and I'll see you next time. Bye. Oh, I forgot. We gotta do the angle around light test. Angles. In the sun. Aw, so pretty in the sun. What's better than a trans girl in the sun? Yeah, see, it's kind of funny. Sometimes I still call myself a trans girl. Sometimes I'll literally just call myself a boy. Labels are kind of silly. Labels are fluid. Identity is fluid. And I'm fluid.